This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 14th day of September in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. With over 80,000 persons awaiting their second dose shots of the Sputnik vaccine, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony today announced that the government intends to continue issuing the first dose shots, even as it works to clear the backlog of persons awaiting those second doses. Some persons have been waiting for more than 3 months to access the second dose shots. According to the health minister, the manufacturer of the vaccine has advised that the intervals between the first and second dose could be as long as 90 to 180 days.
So that interval, a lot of people who have taken their first dose would not have exhausted that longer interval. We have been working with the 90 days, and we are trying to get the vaccine so that people can get their second dose.
The minister is confident that a backlog of 80,000 will be cleared shortly.
And we are hoping that we'll be able to resolve that shortly. So I would encourage people to continue to get their first dose, because we are going to address this the set of person who got first dose and need a second dose. We'll address that shortly so that everybody who took a first dose would be able to get their second dose.
The health minister explained that even though a fully vaccinated person can contract COVID-19, it may not be as severe as opposed to an unvaccinated person. And with active COVID-19 cases now surpassing 3,000, the minister believes persons should continue to take extra precautions.
So it's not just about vaccination, which is very, very important, but it's all the additional measures that you have to use. So we really urge people to take these measures seriously and to protect themselves.
Last Friday, News Source broke the story about the high number of persons still waiting on their second dose Sputnik shots. The minister today confirmed the number of persons awaiting those shots to be the same number as News Source first reported. The Sputnik vaccine was procured by the Guyana government at more than a suggested retail price from a middleman in the United Arab Emirates, who has failed so far to maintain a steady delivery of the vaccine. While the country received more than 200,000 first dose shots of Sputnik, less than 100,000 second doses were received. Unlike other coronavirus vaccines, the Sputnik vaccine is made up of two completely different vaccine doses. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Strap in. You know that it is a fact. The deal on wheels is back. For family, deal on wheels. For security, that's a fact. For fun, deal on wheels.
Republic Bank Deal on Wheels is back. With same-day approval, reduced equity, longer repayment terms, and more. Plus, 3 lucky winners would win $100,000 each. Get the ride for you at Republic Bank.
Vaccinated so that I may be able to go back to school, see my friends, and play tennis again.
I would like to take this opportunity to encourage parents with children between the ages of 12 and 17 to have them vaccinated, as the benefits of vaccination outweighs the risk. These children will be able to attend school, and this will help to prevent their learning loss and also enhance their social skills. Get vaccinated.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
GBTI, make your dreams of owning a home a reality. Buy or build your home with us. Let us help you to completely outfit your home and make it move-in ready. Need to purchase land? We finance that too. Benefit from our 10% down payment and interest rates as low as 4.25%. Calculated on the reducing balance with up to 30 years to repay. Switch your mortgage to us and learn about benefiting from the equity in your home. Invest wisely. Apply online or call your branch to schedule an appointment. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
Days after being admitted to the COVID-19 hospital at Liliendal, owner of 93.1 FM radio and businessman Maxwell Tom succumbed to the virus this morning. The health ministry confirmed his death after his radio station officially broke the news. Tom was also the owner of the popular Wireless Connection store, which was recently relaunched and reopened after several years. Although he was the owner and CEO of 93.1 FM, Mr. Tom also hosted a daily gospel show on the station. News source understands that he isolated himself at home last week after testing positive for coronavirus. But by late last week, his illness worsened and he was taken to the hospital and admitted. Persons close to him said he appeared to be getting better and kept in contact with his family and workers. But that all changed this morning as his condition took a turn for the worse. Tom is the third media worker to die from the pandemic in the past year. The media community found itself plunged into mourning earlier this year with the passing of popular broadcaster and journalist Mondale Smith and former news editor Namila Baines Henry. Our condolences to the family and friends of Maxwell Tom. 5 more COVID-19 related deaths announced by the Ministry of Health today has pushed the number of deaths in the past 13 days of September to 67, with more than 2,500 new cases recorded over that same period. The country's overall death toll is now heading towards 700. The current situation in the country appears to be out of control, with nearly 3,000 active cases and more than 30 persons in the ICU. There has been an average of over 200 new cases daily in the past few weeks. The Health Ministry has sounded the alarm and it wants persons to safeguard themselves from the Delta variant of the virus by practicing all of the safety guidelines. Unvaccinated persons are also being encouraged to get vaccinated. According to the Ministry of Health, the majority of deaths and ICU cases are among the unvaccinated persons. Let's tell you now that the Ministry of Education today announced that it will solely manage the duty-free and other benefits for teachers, removing the Guyana Teachers Union as a partner in the process. Under a 2018 agreement between the GTU and the Ministry of Education under the coalition government, the two sides agreed that the GTU would identify eligible teachers for scholarships and duty-free concessions annually. However, the Education Ministry in its announcement today claimed that it will take over the process, adding that the GTU has been using it to punish teachers who do not support its protests and strike action. The GTU has denied those claims. In a statement, the Education Ministry said it has received complaints and reports from serving teachers regarding how the benefits are allocated and not allocated. The ministry claims that lately the complaints have elevated from the mismanagement of the system by the union to the benefits being used as weapons to threaten teachers to participate in activities organized by the GTU, failing which members are informed openly and subtly that they will not be recipient or continuing recipient of a scholarship nor a duty-free concession. According to the Education Ministry, the benefits will continue to be granted to teachers, and teachers will still be able to access the scholarships and duty-free concessions at the stated amount every year. But the management of the initiative will now be done solely by the Ministry of Education, and the GTU will now play no part. The Education Ministry's decision follows closely on the heels of protests and strike action called by the Teachers Union over the government's vaccination policy and other issues. Teachers are being locked out of school compounds over their failure to provide proof of a negative COVID-19 test or proof of vaccination against COVID. The Teachers Union is still to respond to the latest move by the Ministry of Education. With the Ministry of Education not shifting away from its COVID-19 vaccination policy, the Guyana Teachers Union is complaining that the Education Ministry is refusing to listen to the concerns of the nation's unvaccinated teachers. According to the GTU President Mark Light, the Education Ministry is not showing much care for the concerns being raised by teachers during their protest.
A sad real indication that our teachers are in a very bad shape in terms of the care and consideration that is given to us in this profession. One would have expected, having been out here for 3 days and today being the 4th day, that we would have had some indication coming from the Ministry of Education that they would engage the union with a view to having these matters resolved.
The GTU president said the union remains open to discussion on various issues being raised by teachers, but the Education Ministry is not budging.
When we hear that the ministry cares, we question whether the care is only for children and the care is only for certain sections of the society. We want to feel that care as educators because we believe the development of this nation, the advancement of the Guyanese society rests solely on the shoulders of the educators who are molders of this nation. We cannot have lawyers and doctors and presidents without having our educators involved in equipping those persons and sharing their knowledge.
And he insisted that with the current dispute, students will not get the best out of teachers based on the current relationship. While some teachers have been protesting the government policy, many others who are vaccinated have been reporting for duty. The government has already said striking teachers will not be paid for those strike days. The Caribbean community CARICOM today said it has taken note of the round negotiations in Mexico and mediated by Norway between representatives of the Venezuelan government and the Venezuelan opposition, seeking to bring an end to the protracted multidimensional crisis affecting that country. But CARICOM says it has also taken note of the 2 initial agreements that have been reached on the social protection of the Venezuelan people and on the ratification and defense of Venezuela's sovereignty over Guyana's Essequibo region. CARICOM said as it concerns Guyana, the Caribbean community CARICOM reiterates its firm and unwavering support for the maintenance and preservation of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Guyana. CARICOM also reaffirms its support for the ongoing judicial process of the International Court of Justice that is intended to bring a peaceful and definitive end to the long-standing controversy between Guyana and Venezuela. This evening, CARICOM is urging Venezuela to participate in the process. Guyana's President Irfaan Ali briefed CARICOM leaders about the latest claim by Venezuela during the region's emergency meeting yesterday. Guyana is set to host an international energy conference and expo next year, which will focus on policy making and sustainability of the oil and gas sector. The international conference will take place in February at the Arthur Chung Convention Center and will bring together key stakeholders, international and local ones, in the oil and gas sector. The conference CEO Anthony Abel said it will also cover the entire landscape of the oil and gas sector in Guyana, but will focus specifically on ensuring a sustainable future for Guyana in the oil sector.
So the International Energy Conference and Expo is being hosted under the theme, Charting a Sustainable Energy Future. In keeping with this theme, the presentations will cover a snapshot of the current energy landscape, but will also include several development opportunities and pathways that could lead to a prosperous, sustainable, and secure future for Guyana.
PR consultant to the conference Alex Graham said while some other conferences have focused on the business side of the oil and gas sector, next year's conference will have an additional focus.
The real crucial differentiator here is that while this is an industry event, there's a layer on top of our event that's focusing on policy development, not just in Guyana but in the region. And that's why it's a big deal for us to be attracting heads of government to the conference, because we want the industry to be having their discussions in the context of a clear understanding of what are the regional policy directions And for us, that's a critical component of our conference, that we are putting the policymakers in the region in the same room with the industry participants so that there's a cohesive conversation about how we best develop the sector in Guyana and the rest of the region. And so that's how I would seek to characterize the difference between what you've seen and what it is we're working on now.
The conference will also seek to bridge cooperation between Guyana and Suriname in the oil and gas industry.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight in Trinidad and Tobago, with a menu of vaccines now available, may be facing the expiration of tens of thousands of the Pfizer vaccine and the AstraZeneca doses come November. This comes amid calls from the government and health officials for people to come forward and take the vaccines, as the country still remains some way off from herd immunity. The country received its first 2,000 dose donation of the AstraZeneca vaccine from the government of Barbados 7 months ago, and since then it has received 277,000 doses of that same vaccine, 1.1 million doses of the Sinopharm vaccine, 108,000 doses of Johnson & Johnson, and over 305,000 doses of the Pfizer vaccine. TNT's first doses of Pfizer vaccine arrived from the US on the 13th of June. However, it was allocated exclusively to the arms of the Ministry of National Security and not the general public. In August, the first tranche of 305,000 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccines arrived out of a total of 907,000 doses donated by the US to Trinidad and Tobago. The vaccine was initially set aside for children, but due to the slow uptake and the looming expiry date, the Minister of Health in Trinidad has announced that teachers and healthcare workers will be eligible for that Pfizer vaccine from the 29th of August. In Haiti, the country's Prime Minister Ariel Henry has been banned from leaving the country amid an investigation into his alleged involvement in the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse. A prosecutor is seeking charges against Mr. Henry, who has been asked to explain his links with a suspect in the killing. Records show the two men had multiple phone calls just hours after the assassination. Mr. Moïse was killed at his home on the 7th of July. He was shot dead after gunmen stormed his private residence in a suburb of the capital, Port-au-Prince. His death triggered a political crisis, which was exacerbated when a huge earthquake struck the south of Haiti a month ago. Prosecutors have said records obtained from phone operator Digicel have confirmed that Mr. Badiou, a Justice Ministry official, accused of planning the assassination, and the Prime Minister spoke twice shortly after Mr. Moïse's killing. And finally tonight, international news. China's ambassador to the UK has been told he cannot go to Parliament while sanctions remain in place against a number of British MPs and peers. Zheng Zhiwang was due to attend the Commons reception on Wednesday, hosted by the All-Party Group on China. But after protests, the Speaker, Sir Lindsay Hoyle, and Lord Speaker, Lord Macfall, ruled this out. The Chinese embassy in the UK said it was a despicable and cowardly decision that would harm both countries' interests. The ban, which was first reported by the Daily Telegraph, comes at a time when tensions between the two governments are high. In March, China imposed travel bans and asset freezes on 5 British MPs and 2 peers whom it accused of spreading lies about the country. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.